Good evening, coaches. It's about 9:31, and I am just getting home from practice. I'm sure you guys and gals all, if you coach, you know what I mean. You know this feeling all too well. You're so tired you can't even get out of the vehicle. But I wanted to share something with you. I write a newsletter every week. Gary Castillo, and my site is called Play Beautiful. It's a site for encouraging coaches to take the responsibility of the sacred work that we have. And I write a newsletter every week that goes out on Sunday with just a word for coaches of encouragement that they can take with them into the week. And this week, my focus was on overthinking. Okay, so overthinking and how coaches and athletes, how this can plague us and our minds. And I'm going to talk about that more every day this week, but I really wanted to share something that manifested itself tonight. I was doing player profiles and player end of year evaluations. I do my evaluations a little bit different. I don't assign numbers to any skills or anything like that. I sit down and have a conversation with my athletes about who they are as a person and as a player, and the things that are holding them back, and what I can do to support them in the plan that we come up with for them to be braver, to not be afraid of failure, to go after the success that they want. And so I was sitting down with a young lady who has just the best heart. She's the best teammate that you could imagine having on your team. And we were talking about the barriers that she has that hold her back. And she said that probably the most predominant barrier that she has is that she doubts herself. She doubts herself. And so I asked her about that. I said, well, do you doubt your skill level, or do you doubt your capability to get something done, to accomplish a task, or what exactly is it that you doubt? And she said that she doubts how people will look at her if she fails. She doubts her value to them if she fails. And so I stopped the interview right there just to pause. And I said, okay, here's what I hear you saying. You believe that your value as a person on our team can be changed, can be altered, can be subtracted from just because you make a mistake. And she affirmed that. And I said, well, hon, we all love you way too much for that to be true. So you have created that narrative in your mind that your value is so fragile that one mistake could alter the way we care about you. And we talked about that even further. What has caused you to think that your value could be, to everyone on the team, could be so fragile and so minuscule that just making a mistake, not taking a shot, making a bad pass, diminish how we feel about you as a person. And she goes on this rant about, well, what if I this, and what if I that, and what if this happens, and what if I shoot and miss and we lose the game? And I was like, oh my gosh, did you just hear all of the what ifs? There's not that many opportunities for what if in a game for one person to make that many mistakes, unless they're trying to do it on purpose. And she kind of had a laugh at that. And I said, hey, would you say that it's safe to assume that you just overthink every decision that you make? And she said, yeah, that's exactly what I do. And I said, okay, well, why do you land on doubt? Of all of the thinking, all of the thoughts that go through her head, the emotions associated with them, and the possible outcomes of her decisions, she lands on doubt. And that, coaches, that's what's plaguing some of your athletes. That's exactly what can happen when they begin to overthink. They land on doubt. They don't believe there's anywhere else to go other than doubt. And they overthink themselves into the worst possible outcome. That's why our work is so sacred. We can literally drive a wedge between those negative thoughts and their decisions. Because the doubt that they have on the field, they take it with them into other things and in other aspects of their lives. So I told this kid, me, your teammates, the other coaches, we love you way too much for any amount of mistakes that you make to affect the value that you have in our lives. We finished our conversation. She went back out onto the field to finish practice. Scores 2 goals. One of her objectives was to just take the risk, because she's psychologically safe in knowing that every one of us are going to love her just the same. How powerful is our role as a coach in the life of young people, that we can pour encouragement into them, and that they can believe in themselves and land somewhere other than doubt. Going to talk about overthinking the rest of this week, but that's what some of your players are going through right now. And you could be the difference maker.